I'm going to walk towards every area where I hear them. Now, I'm in the bedroom near the window. I have this window open. Now, let me just show you outside the window so you get a view of the window. Those are the blinds, as you can tell already. You guys already know that there are blinds on this window. So when they're saying they're seeing in, they said they're seeing in through these little holes that are in the window blind slat. You see those little holes? That's how they said they're seeing in. But then they said that they are doing something, I showed you on the ceiling, where they shine a light so they can see in. Okay, so I'm going to pause this and, well, actually, I'll take you guys with me without pausing it. Okay, I just bumped into something. Okay, this is in the kitchen. And they said they're on these areas. Now, this is my window here, but that's where you hear more of the sounds. So they keep telling me it isn't going to stop, but you've already seen the comments that said that too, so it's not even a big deal. We already know that that's what these people keep telling me. So now I'll take you folks into the living room. Okay, I just bumped into something again. All right, so I'm going to sit down and we'll just listen. When they cut me off, I'll just upload a video. I can't log on right now. I have a hard time paying my bills because they won't let me log on to the websites. They keep interfering with my service. So, you know, there are a lot of issues that they created, and they said it was intended for me to move to Carolina. Now, sometimes it's South Carolina, sometimes it's North Carolina. But the whole intention was that they were going to have me move to South Carolina, and I would have lost my equity in my apartment. When I was talking to someone, I said, I'm not going to give up my keys until, if I relocate, I'm satisfied where I am. I would not give up my keys and just stranded. You know, I'm 48. I have enough life experience to know not to give up your keys if you relocate until you're happy there. So they were like, well, that might be complicated. No, it's not complicated. You know what I mean? It's not complicated. It's logical, and it's something that I would do. So let's sit here and see if they have anything to say. So they're like, oh, you know, we were going to, no, you weren't going to do anything right by me. That's why I'm still here. And I'll stay here until I get this resolved. Let me show you this window, because this is the other view of this window. Okay. So they clearly misunderstood the fact that, you know, when you bring people back into a 40-something-year-old's life, that person has to be carefully examined, and I'm not going to just up and leave. And so you can hear birds. For some reason, there are birds all day, all night in this area, but in the other area, you don't hear it as much. But I want you to, maybe you guys are bird people, and if you're a bird person, let me know what troop that is, what kind of bird troop that is. Let me give you another view. So if you're a bird person, you know, let me know what kind of bird that is. You see how the lights look like they're twinkling? I tried to show you this in a different video, but now you get a chance to see it. And that's what someone who watched my video said, that this sort of light twinkling thing is a thing, you know. So I don't know how. Let me try to hold it like this and see. There is a little light twinkling thing happening right here. Let me see if I can get my finger into this. I don't know, I can't get my finger in. But you see there is a little light twinkling. So we're going to just continue to listen. Again, if you're a bird person, let me know what kind of bird that is. So I want to keep, you know, telling you folks what's been going on, because now as we go on about this, this has been going on for years. Like I said, I think the whole plot was to just take my apartment, take my equity, lie on me, claim all sorts of things about me and my mom, especially, then some of my deceased relatives. And it's embarrassing, you know. It's embarrassing for them, not for us. For them, because it shows that there was a plan involved. You know, my mom was always like, oh, you talk over everything, so let me just be quiet and just let you guys listen. I'm going to go inside. I hear a noise, so let me just see what that noise is. Okay, so that was my mom, and I just went inside. I let her know I just recorded this exchange that we just had. So we'll continue to let them talk and make noises and sounds. You'll hear that humming sound. And I'll just sit here with you guys. That's my stomach growling. They said they can make my stomach growling by heating that area after they hit it. So that's part of their little way of marking people. So it seems like they said that they thought they were helping me by shortening my videos because it takes so long to load. No, they would help me if they don't overlay it with so much of their nonsense. So that again, I'm telling you folks who have common sense how these people don't have common sense. That's how you know they're not the CIA, they're not the FBI, they're not the police, because it takes certain training and ability to be those things. It takes a certain level of common sense. Sure, there are people out there with no common sense, but the things that these people are saying, they lack common sense, and that's how you can tell they have some sort of mental issues, which is why I didn't want to keep calling the police on them, except when it was, extreme circumstances. They lack basic common sense. The basic common sense of everything that I'm telling you in every video is I'm always giving you a story that they told me and then giving you the common sense reply. So they said, oh, I've always been like a lawyer. They said that as a kid, I was always like a lawyer. I don't see it as a lawyer. It's just someone who has common sense. So when I'm telling you, these people always come to me for stuff, either for advice or for they're having this, they're doing that. It's because they know I have common sense. And even when I showed you guys the recruitment email I got from um, Lacoste, when I showed you guys my thank you cards, my reference letters, my commendations, they keep trying to take away from me the truth, but I have common sense. So again, they want to keep attacking what is good about me. I have enough bad about me that they can attack, but no, they don't want to attack the bad stuff about me. They want to attack, oh, your hair's a weave, it's not a weave. Oh, you don't like black people. Obviously, I like black people. Um, oh, you don't have common sense. Obviously, I have common sense. A while ago, they said, um, see, now I'm going to cough. Someone else coughed later. So whatever they're doing, whatever irritant or heating or hitting in the throat causes the coughing. Anyway, and my eyes are tearing. But anyway, they want to attack my level of common sense, but I wouldn't have been in these jobs and these positions. They want to minimize the jobs and positions I've had. But in every company that I worked for, I was either a troubleshooter, I was in sales, I was in, some form of customer service where if the person had a really difficult customer, they would refer the customers to me. And I worked for big companies. So, I didn't work for small companies. I worked for big companies, and I was always in that position where if I wasn't, if I wasn't someone that would troubleshoot, I would have the most difficult customers that my coworkers couldn't handle pretty much. So they want to rewrite the truth. And that's part of why this whole situation didn't become as dangerous as they predicted it would be. Let me pause this for a moment. I think my mom's coming. So yeah, I just paused that because my mom got up. Anyway, so as I was saying that, I try to tell you the stories they say and the lies they claim existed, and then the common sense, and show you proof. So again, as I told you, I've been working now for decades. And in the jobs that I have, I'm usually the person they ask to coach, to troubleshoot, to deal with the most difficult customers. And these, over the decades, these people seem to have, they said, written things down about me, which is again some sort of obsessive behavior. But again, if it goes back to now what I see about this book. So clearly they were writing things down to come up with, I guess, ideas. That's not the creative process. The creative process is to create, if it's a fictional book. It's not to follow me around and write things down about me that were probably so inaccurate. If that was the creative process, you could just come directly to me. But anyway, so getting back to what I'm saying is that these people have a basic lack of common sense. So there are people in professions without common sense, but these people cannot be in professional situations because their basic lack of common sense is what caused this. So even if these people are in professional positions, they lack the common sense to realize the effects. They used to say, oh, you used to always say ramifications. Well, I don't need to say ramifications. They lack the basic cause and effect. You cause something and here's the effect. To make me homeless and not just me, my mother homeless. To make my mother homeless and me homeless is too big of of an effect. So to cause all of this and then to cause us to be homeless and to live where? Stay those long-term stay motels, hotels, that's ridiculous. That would not be my life. And we wouldn't be able to blend in after decades of having lived in a big apartment in the Bronx. I could not do that. That wouldn't make sense. So that's part of the no common sense. The other part of the no common sense is that everyone can hear this. They said they thought it was going directly to my brain. What kind of brain? So they thought I had some sort of neuro implant. Do you know how, first of all, how expensive that is? If if it existed on the level that they think it exists. But how big of a deal it would be, like all the news media would be interested in watching the implant surgery. So again, I'm dealing with a bunch of people who they have a combination of no common sense and then no sense at all. Like it's extreme. So they don't like my humor. They think my humor is too rough. My humor is how I was raised. These people don't know me. Again, here we are. We're at the point where now I'm talking to you folks, and I'm talking to you the way I grew up. And those of you who grew up like me, we grew up the same way. We grew up rough. When I say rough, our older relatives were rough. They weren't so sweet all the time. They were the type of people who would tell us things the way we needed to hear it. And I think that could be some of the good things that happened throughout the years, but also it could be the reason why some of the bad things happened throughout the years, because people aren't getting that truth at a young age in a way that they can handle it. So it's a combination of issues that I'm dealing with now, and that I think we're dealing with as a society. Now, I don't want people to be treated too roughly, but rough enough that they can deal with reality. So when I started when I started writing and I started writing about my experiences, I think that's another thing they didn't want me to do, because if they're writing about experiences that they attribute to me and it contradicts the reality that I write, that would be another common sense reason why they didn't want me to be able to publicly speak, to publicly tell my story, because I think they were writing lies. Well, I don't think it, I know it. So we're talking about a whole lot of issues. So the other thing I'm going to talk about before I just kind of let you guys listen, I have the kettle on so that I can have a cup of tea because my throat was getting a little raspy. The other thing is that they said the CIA put me in this program. Why would the CIA put me in a program and then allow people to write books with my name in it and then allow me to work with the public? It doesn't make sense. There's something missing in that thought process. I wish I had like the ability to kind of follow that thought process, because it kind of drops off. Usually CIA, they do secretive things. It's not a public sort of thing. So for me to have publicly worked with the public, and when I say publicly working with the public, I didn't just work with the public. I did work in a call center for some years, but I also worked in the public publicly. So it would be kind of bizarre for the CIA to create a program around me where I work with the public, where people all over the world, I worked in companies where people all over the world travel to go there. Why would the CIA choose me? That's the opposite of what the CIA is. It doesn't make sense. But in their minds, this is like, oh, this is the best thing. No. So what I'm telling you folks is that they getting back to the original topic, was they said they were shortening my videos because it takes so long to upload. A video like this without a lot of pictures and actual video, but mainly sound, wouldn't take as long to upload if they stopped. Oh, you notice the birds stopped chirping. If they stopped the birds chirping, and if they stopped all the other sound effects and the humming and the banging, it wouldn't take as long to upload. My videos aren't complex videos. And so if a typical video that's maybe less than 5 minutes would take less than maybe 600 megabytes at most, it's coming out at like a gigabyte of memory. And it doesn't make sense. So that's part of how you can tell this isn't the CIA. This is, and then they're coming up with all other explanations. So they're concerned that in their privately, secretly videotaping me and surveilling me, that I farted. Guess what, folks? I farted. Here, my stomach just growled again. So they said, oh, well, then one day you were moving around on bed on top of a pillow. Sounds like I could have done that. You know what I mean? So their whole idea, their version of reality is so nonsensical, lack of sense, nonsense, that this clearly isn't the CIA. It's not the FBI. And when they're coming up with a fantasy me that they want to base on the real me, and then I put out a version of the real me, they feel like I'm competing with myself. And that's one of the things they said they were going to do. They said they were going to have me compete with Black people, non-black people, gay people, and then me. So I think I'm up to the point where I'm competing with me, I guess. Which again, this is an idea that they have of a reality that doesn't exist. The reality is that I told someone this years ago. We don't live in a zero sum society where one side wins and the other side loses. We live in a society that's based on the best sides winning. So you want to bring out the best in people. You want people. That's the kettle whistling. So I'm just going to go shut it off. I'll be right back, please. So the thought process is that you want people to excel and bring out the best in a person. So as someone who used to coach people on the job, and they would ask me at a certain point, I would say no because I was working on commission and I wasn't being compensated. But the idea is I would let people who were new just hang out with me. So if I'm standing waiting for a customer in a job and they want me to train you, I can't train you because if I get a customer, I need to make money. And I used to work at places that didn't give you any money unless you made it. So if you guys have ever worked in a commission environment, you know how hard that is and how stressful it is. But I would let the people hang out and look at me and watch me, see what I was doing. And one of the points I would make is that if we are working as a group on a sales floor, and I help your customer, and then the next time you help my customer, we'll all make money. But if you're just running for a customer, leaving things on the floor, making a mess, then we all fail because we can't find the item, we can't find the appropriate size, and all the customers get frustrated. It just takes one frustrated customer to make everyone frustrated. So that's how I view the world. Now, there will be people out there who will say, well, that's stupid. Guess what? I'm used to people saying some things are stupid, but I'm also used to people who acknowledge that a lot of what I say does make sense. They wouldn't be recording me if I didn't make sense. And that's part of how I'm telling you, this wasn't supposed to be me as being stupid. It was supposed to be me as what ideas does she have? We can say she inspired an idea without giving her credit for the inspiration, without giving me any money, and most of all, by making me look like I wouldn't be able to inspire an idea. But clearly, the book proves that not only did I inspire an idea, I inspired a book. And that's my point to you folks. My point to you is that, they say 48 is not old. Well, 48 ain't young, okay? Nobody says, oh, that little 48-year-old. No, no, no. That's a grown-ass woman. I am a grown-ass woman. And I've lived in the Bronx for those 48 years. So I had enough life experience. So they said, well, we're going to beat you up. Do it. And that's what gets them angry because the threats don't work anymore. I think what they said was that the threats would have worked on me when I was younger. Well, clearly it would have because I would have been taken aback by these threats. But at 48, I'm not. That's what gangs and criminals do. This is a criminal organization. No matter how much they try to dress themselves up, they're criminals. And I can't be a part of it because I feel that, I'm going to touch upon something that happened in high school. The same person involved in this situation now was involved in something bad that happened in high school. And I told you I just couldn't call the police. I just couldn't do it because I felt that this person has mental issues. And clearly they said this is some sort of reenactment. They said they're recreating 1991 in 2021. So for the anniversary, that just gives you the no common sense, the nonsense that they thought they were going to recreate it. And I can't divulge all of it because that's part of how this person operates. But she has a mental problem and it should have been dealt with. And 30 years ago, it would have been too much to put on that person at her age. But now it's not. And I feel that that what they did was it seems, according to the people talking, the nonsensicals who have no sense, they speak nonsense. They said that they gave the story to the person who wrote the book and twisted it and made a lie out of it. And I keep telling you folks, that is a big deal, because that lie damages a lot of people's reputations. They don't care about me, but at least they should care about the kids involved. And they should care about why that lie and the twist that they made to it led up to today. So I think that book gave that person an opportunity to hide the issues that person has. And I think it also gave them the idea that that kind of changed what really happened. And they said to me, today, they said, well, no one will side with me. But clearly, my life experience sides with me. They cannot change what happened in 1991 because the truth is known. So everyone involved would have to start lying. But what also made it clear that what happened in 91 was not what was depicted in the book, is the reality. And why I'm fighting so hard is because it's wrong. It's just wrong. So instead of me talking over everything, I'll go back to the window, see if we hear the birds chirping. And someone might tell me, if you guys watch, what kind of bird this is. So anyway, so I'm going to get my cup of tea. I'll let you guys listen some more. And they keep trying to give me suggestions, but again, their suggestions about life is nonsensical. So they just make no sense. They said I should do a video where I again, so many nonsensical things, where I go upstairs, because they said something of it's right upstairs. Go upstairs. Why would I go upstairs? Clearly, if River Bay can allow people to live here and harass their neighbors, going upstairs just turned it around on me. They said that's what this group does. They would set me up. Clearly, they would. They would set me up. So it's just, it doesn't make sense. I'm going to leave this audio, get a cup of tea, and then I'll come back. So I'm going to let you guys continue to listen. They said that the way you hear it is by, you have to be between someone in front or someone behind you to intercept the phone. But I know that isn't true, because when I'm on the train and I hear it, it doesn't sound, it sounds weird, but there isn't anyone in front of me or behind me. But they said in the apartment you have one side that has it, the other side that has it. I don't know. So another idea, they want me to video the television. I'm not ready to do that. That was something I did before, and what they were doing was they shut it off, because we have master antennas. But even when I use the regular antenna without the master antenna, it still picked it up. So clearly, this is something they, I've been telling you, it's some sort of signal. And in previous videos, I said it was a radio signal. So now what they're doing is they're feeding me my ideas back as though they're their ideas. So what they're doing is saying, oh, you can use the old technology to pick it up. Well, I did a video about that like a month ago. It's just like whoever's behind this spent a lot. They said they spent almost $1 million to record me. And in the process of recording me, this other group, which doesn't make sense, seemed to start talking over everything I said. So they're like, the other group is saying like bad words in the background, which doesn't make sense. If you spend $1 million to secretly record someone, why would you let another group talk over everything? Then you're not recording me. They could just record them. But I said to them, and I said this out loud in my apartment, I said, if you're talking while I'm talking, then you're also being recorded. So everyone's being recorded. So we're just all being recorded. And I think that's what really got them, because then they realized, well, the stupid stuff they say combined with the stupid things I say are being recorded. So they said, oh, we can just say that you said all this stuff. Fine. It's not like, I think the idea of this was to find something to get me. And then they said they thought the freshman year boyfriend thought I would eventually go along with it, and then I would be singing and dancing. He doesn't know me to sing and dance. Like, who are these people? Out of nowhere, he's like, I was singing and dancing. When did I have time to sing and dance at my former university? When did that happen? Okay, we went to a senior ball where I danced with everyone else, but I wasn't singing. But when does he know me to sing and dance like I was a singer or dancer? Again, it's like a group of people who clearly they are talking amongst themselves and trying to come up with some ridiculous stuff. So they said that they filled out some sort of survey, so that when the people who are doing this, I guess the people who spent $1 million allegedly are doing this, they would have an idea of what I was interested in. And they made up a lot of stupid things. And now they're like, well, those stupid things that we made up, they're actually true. Well, then it's not made up then. I mean, if you said something and it's completely made up, then it's a lie. If you said something and it's not completely made up, then it's true. So whatever criminal organization wanted to do this, they said they're trying to do a survey, eavesdrop on me, help write dialogue based on my life. It's just so out there and ridiculous. But again, so the idea that I would all of a sudden start singing and dancing, well, maybe one day, once these people are come out of my life completely, I will probably just do a song and a dance to celebrate. So, they're upset that the truth is going to get out here, and I'm going to, upload this video. I'm on the recliner, so that little noise you hear is the recliner. That's my stomach, but the recliner. So they said, well, we're going to make you fart so that you'll stop recording. No, I'll keep recording. Again, I don't want these people to have those private moments. They're my private moments. They belong to me. You hear that? So they said the way that works is they hit you with this whatever, and then they heat it up, and so it's sort of like a muscle contracting. So like my when I woke up, my joints were achy, and I you know how you can crack your knuckles? Well, I was able here. I could crack my knuckles. I could. So this is the same sort of idea. So some combination, and I wrote this years ago. If you look at Bella Soul, I wrote that as a combination. I think, I'm not sure, of pressurization, magnetization, temperature changes, and being hit with something. So again, I find that this group keeps reading my tweets and then saying it so that they can kind of feel like they're giving me the idea. I don't think that makes sense. I don't think it makes sense. It's again more nonsense. But the idea behind what I'm doing is letting you know what they're saying. The idea behind what they're doing is trying to pretend that they're the ones giving me the ideas. But I'm telling you, these are criminals who are telling me crimes that other criminals committed. That's the idea they're giving me. So the crimes are them. Again, I want to give them credit. I wouldn't know about these crimes if had it not been for them. What what they want credit for isn't the telling me about the crimes that other criminals commit, and I guess they commit if they know about it. They want credit for all these other things. But again, I feel like I've given them their rightful share. Half of nothing is nothing, and that's all they deserve. So making my stomach growl, wow. But they feel like, if I'm someplace and my stomach is growling, that's embarrassing. No, it's more embarrassing that they're sitting listening to a 48-year-old stomach growl. I think that's embarrassing. So that to me is like, wow. Their lives, their life work is listening to stomach growling. Okay. So the other part about this is if I'm recording this and having you folks listen to me and my ideas and my thoughts, they said this is supposed to, they said this is supposed to be a personality assessment. Well, there will be people who will be able to assess my personality. Anyone who can go on YouTube can look at over almost 380 videos and assess my personality. They're like, well, you're going to seem, no, I seem exactly as I am. So it won't be you're seeing this, you're seeing that. No, I'm going to be who I am. And that ruins the whole criminal idea. So if everybody can do it, then they don't want to do it anymore. Well, why wouldn't you? If everyone's doing it, these people are followers. If everyone's doing it, you do it. So this is just how this whole situation is. So we have a problem with these types of people in our society because instead of contributing something useful, they contribute something harmful. And instead of looking at the situation as why are we doing this, they're looking at it as, now that we did it, let's try to set her up to make it look like she's making this up. Well, why would I make it up? It doesn't make sense. So the nonsense that these no sense people put into the world, I think must be exposed. We cannot have a world full of these types of people running a world where they're recruiting mentally ill people to harass people, where they're child abusers, where they're liars and profiting off of it. It goes against everything I believe in. It just goes against everything I believe. Another thing that I want to tell you folks is that they said that this is designed for me to hear certain portions and other people to hear other portions. Well, again, to me, there are smart people out there who will be able to say, wow, that's a really great idea. For me, that's not a smart idea because your hearing changes. It changes over years. It changes in certain environments. Like I told you in a previous video, this apartment has a sound to it. So you can test my hearing in one environment and I may hear at a certain level, but my hearing will change over years. So I told you a guy walked into the boutique at World Trade Center and said, "Oh, how's your hearing? Do you hear something? And he said, "Do you have like a sort of like he was implying, do I have swimmers ear?" And I was like, I looked at him like strange. I was like, I was so caught off guard by it. And I'm telling you that probably is how this part of this crime developed. And I thought, like, that's weird. I'm sure over time, because they keep making that screeching sound to test my hearing, I'm sure over that, from then to now, my hearing's changed. For a lot of reasons. I told you guys I put an ice compress, but the sounds in this apartment changed. If they have people moving from one apartment to the next, that changes the sound. Because at one point, we had people living in these apartments. I had a neighbor on one side, I had a neighbor above, I had a neighbor below, I had a neighbor to the side. So if these apartments are empty and you don't hear people running around too much, or they're kind of going from apartment to apartment, you're changing the sound. So I'm sure there's someone who's really smart out there who would say, well, not the nonsense people, but the sensible people, the sensible people, not sensible, sensible people. So you got the nonsensible people, so I'll call them the nonsensicals, and then you have the sensible people who I'll call them the sensicals, because we have sense. Those people would say, well, it does change the sound and that. So none of their schemes would really work in the long run. They would have to keep testing my hearing. They would have to this can't be a legitimate study, because you can't keep changing all the different variables. That's not scientific research. Scientific research is a control group that you can control the elements. This is a lack of control. And again, we're getting back to what I've been saying from the beginning. This is a group of people that cannot be. This was supposed to probably seem like a scientific study. Anything to kind of keep this, from being truthfully told. But you can't, if you cannot make it sound the same each and every day, then they say, I know you can hear me, I know you can hear me, and then like blah, 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 and I can't hear it. That doesn't make sense. You can't insist that I hear you, and then when I don't hear you, keep repeating it. So clearly you know I cannot hear you. So whoever is defrauding, one criminal is defrauding the other criminal. If you're saying I know you can hear me, and then I can no longer hear you, but I heard that, then I don't hear what you said I know you can hear. And maybe they're doing that intentionally so that it seems like I hear everything. But I'm telling you folks what I hear. I hear a bunch of nonsense. I hear a bunch of crimes that they claim other people have committed. And I try to write it on Twitter. I try to put it in a video. But I also hear this was some sort of scam on other criminals. So scammers scamming scammers. So maybe that will be the title. I always say I'm going to make a title of a video and then I change the title at the last minute. But the whole point is, this really does seem like a bunch of scammers scamming scammers, and they decided to scam each other, and this is how the scam failed. Oh, that's the other thing. You might have heard something that sounded like water running. They said this machine that they use uses a lot of water, and that could also be what's causing problems because I told you that all pipes are metal pipes, so you have metal in the water, and then with this, if you're using something that sort of attaches to the metal, it causes issues. So whatever they're doing, they're using water. There was a bang. They're using water. They're making it cold, making it hot. There was my stomach again. Again, you know, all of the weird things that they thought I would be so upset about, I was not upset about it. They thought that I would be so upset about being human. Not at all. I'm upset about lies. I'm upset about taking advantage of people, hurting people, physically, mentally, emotionally hurting people. I'm also upset when people are so manipulative that when you call them out on their manipulation, they turn it around on you and say, you're being argumentative. So it's just, they said that the reason they wanted to do this to me, here's another reason. I've given you about a million reasons, was because they wanted to tell me how much they scammed me through the years. But I'm not a scammer. So clearly, if they were scamming me through the years and I'm an honest person and not a scammer, they're admitting they took advantage of someone who they gave thank you cards to, wrote commendations, and promoted. So that shows that not only do these scammers scam scammers, they scam vulnerable people, honest people. So they said the whole thing, this was going to be, again, another nonsensical thing. If I am someone who they feel doesn't have the ability to um, use common sense, then why would you then tell me that you scammed me and then expect me to just welcome you with open arms? To me, that means that you're telling me you scammed me through the years and confessing to all these scams that you said you scammed me, and then now you're upset that I'm upset. So they said, well, you weren't supposed to react this way. Well, of course I would react this way. If you decide to go do this, spend $1 million on all of this, which is a scam, and then tell me that I was so stupid over the years to not know you were scamming me, of course I would be upset. So again, I don't understand how criminals confessing to crimes wouldn't make me upset. So I'm going to end this video now because I'll do another video a little bit later. But I wanted to give you guys an idea of how it is when I'm staying up because they wake me up. And you hear all these sounds, all the noise. And even though they made it a little bit lower, it's not quiet. And somebody's, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but someone's in the background because that person is so unstable that that person thinks that that's helping me. So the idea is to make noises in the background to make it seem like that person's helping me when that person really is doing what I told you that person does. And that's the sad part, that there are people who spent $1 million or more to do this and isn't getting that person the help. Everybody who has issues deserves to be treated. It's like, it's like denying someone treatment. That to me is a crime. That's another crime. You don't take advantage of people who are mentally ill. You help them deal with their mental illness. So I'll end it with that, and I'll upload another video soon. Thanks for listening, and I'm just going to leave you with this. You guys can't see it, so let me put the light on so you know it's me. Like I usually try to leave you with something that you know is me. Okay, so I hope that you can hear some of what they're saying. They keep using my name, which is another con. That's another manipulative trick that manipulators use your name because it makes them feel like they're connecting with you. But again, it's manipulative. But thanks for watching. I'll upload another video soon.